What's up? Can you hear me? I'm just somehow not being able to change the scene right now. Oh, there we go. How is everybody doing? How's everybody doing on a Friday night? Keep on forgetting the shortcuts. So, yes, you are Easy D. Welcome. I was gonna talk about third spaces, public spaces in the stream today. Like I promised y'all yesterday. I also have a little goal for my stream. So hit that goal if you can, if we can. So yeah, we have a lot to say about public spaces. So not just like public spaces, but also like third spaces in general. So if in case you didn't know, third spaces are just the space. So let's say in our lives we have our homes, which is the first node, first place, aka our first places. Then we have our school and work. Oops, I just steal that phone. Then we have our school or work that we go to like on almost everyday basis. That's our second places. And then we have our third spaces, which is where we like the third space is for any other activities that is in between, you know. So it can be anything from like hanging out, socializing, talking to people, you name it. Like this, for example, here I am in a park. This is a third space. This is a third space right here. And this third space is for everybody. Like, even like, and by when I mean everybody, I mean me myself as a cat at the moment. Oh, we have another bone. It can be like anything, but like most commonly known here is most commonly known here are parks, libraries, and some of them are even like paid third spaces. Like for example, we got cafes or like supermarkets or malls, which is you have to somewhat like you have to pay to get inside these areas, or like even though you don't have to pay, like it's still like being gatekeeping, and it's somewhat of a promotion of consumerism, because you simply don't get the free access to the amenities that these places give out, that these places provide. And we have a serious problem with that in here, like oh, I would definitely say the library. It's my favorite kind of third space. Criminally underrated and also criminally underfunded. And I think like we're kind of desperate for third spaces. I think like, and that this is a reoccurring problem of many cities. not just like here in the US and Canada, not just in North America, but I would say that the same thing also happened in Europe, also happened in Asia. And I'm sorry if I'm agreeing with the boomers on this, but yeah, they are right. It's but the reason why we don't go outside is there is no third spaces. There is no like place that we can go and have fun outside of just our job, our school, and our other like errands. I think like the other day, I think like one time my old coworker told me that Costco is like the charger for extroverts, and I was like, yeah, kind of have to agree with that. It's a really good analogy. So I found one of these ducks here. A kitty being followed by ducklings remind me of a story I heard as a youngster. Kind of, it's Tom and Jerry, guys. It's definitely Tom and Jerry. Let's go, kitty. And back to third spaces. If you noticed, I made a video about 2 years ago. Damn, it's quite been quite a while. But 2 years ago, I made a video on like why Canadian children are so inactive, and the reason behind it is the inaccessibility to public spaces and third spaces. They don't have the space that they can hang out. They don't have the space to hang out with their peers. It's really feel like they are imprisoned in. Just gonna leave the bone here and pick it up later. They feel like entrapped in their little homes in the suburbs. And as this video, oh yeah, and as we progress, as the children progress to become teenagers, this lack of third space, it becomes even a more serious problem for them, because it significantly hinders their social ability. Just taking a nap in here. It really hinders their capacity. It really hinders their social ability to interact with one another. And I'm not sure if you know about this, but teenage depression is a huge issue at the moment. Yeah, like I think like in this game it really reflects the idea of third spaces, even like for the ducks, because like one of them here had to be rescued from this washing machine, and they think that it's a it's a roller coaster. Yeah. Which is kind of ironic though, because like Yeah, which is kind of ironic though, because like backyards, it's so funny that like backyards, like houses with backyards, are promoted as like great spaces to for the children to play, but like who are they playing with? They are just like playing with their family members. There's no like connection with their peers. There's no connection with their um, there's no connection with their friends in their neighborhood. And obviously like a backyard is a backyard. It cannot replace a park. Like a park can have like all the structures that the children can play. Meanwhile a backyard may have like some grass. I mean, like you can build a snowman in the winter, which is nice. But other than that, like in the summer, like what are you gonna do? Like not every family can afford those swings or like those outdoor pools. So I do feel bad for kids and teenagers in this generation. They don't have spaces to go out and have fun, but yet they always blamed like it's the goddamn phone, or like they are not trying hard enough. Bro, they are depressed since birth, bro. They are depressed since birth with like that kind of living environment that they're living in. And this is not kind of like somewhat of like a trust me bro source. It's there are statistics to back this up. He's gonna take another nap here. Yeah, and I think like another problem with third spaces and public spaces in general is that a lot of them are inaccessible in the winter. Have you seen a park that is literally just like an empty patch of grass, or like just literally just a football field or soccer field? Like not every person out there is an athlete, and therefore like it's so gatekeeping for them. I don't know. And personally, I have been bullied while I was on the sport team in high school, so it kind of sparked some not so good memories for me, and I kind of don't want to go back to sporting. Favorite urban neighborhood you've ever visited? I have some, to name a few. The goated, most favorite one, is definitely the Davies neighborhood, like Davies Village in Vancouver, British Columbia. Consider that the neighborhood of the city. Love that. It really good. Have some really good urban design elements. Feels very connected. Like feels very vibrant when you're there. Also, happy Valentine's Day. I think like personally in my home city, have a very good neighborhood, urban neighborhood as well, which is Strathcona, Old Strathcona area. It's also a very vibrant neighborhood. We have a library that looks like it from the 30s. Streetcar, there's like old streetcar tracks going through. And generally there's a lot of good businesses to visit, and like lots of like you see like people like singing on the street, busking. I actually want to talk about busking, but not in this video. This video is mostly more on like about public spaces and third spaces. Yeah, and I think like if there's like another like honorable mention, I know that I hate Calgary, but In the city of Calgary, there's a very good neighborhood called Sunnyside. It's like, you know, like north of the river by Kensington Market. And oh yeah, speaking of Kensington, like I love Kensington Market in Toronto as well. Kensington Market is the Chinatown. It's like the Chinatown Market. Some really good structures in there. And like it's generally like very vibrant. It gives you feel like it's actually an urban place that has like social capital and have like interactions with people. And I want to talk about that like as an element of third spaces as well. Like I think a good third space needs to ensure like human to human connections. I think like that's the most vital part of a third space. Yeah, mall, bars, and restaurant. Like I think like there's like a lot of like businesses out there like paid third spaces, but not everybody can afford to like come to these places every day. And it costs money. Yeah. Back in my second year, I actually made a video called malls are great, but they can be graded, but they are not great for those who don't drive. Yeah, cause like it's like sometimes you see the mall, like it's even like bigger than a mall that looks bigger than the no, the parking lot of a mall is bigger than the mall itself. Still getting flashback about that example in Houston yesterday. God damn it. And like it's a waste of space a lot of the times. And I think like another beef that I have with malls is that it really promotes consumerism. And then like it's in a way that it's like mostly like you see like high end. Most usually you see high end stores within a mall. And generally like, it's also like so it's not like for the general public to access it. I don't know, like in some cities like malls even hate transit so much that they love to contradict themselves by fighting against like transit projects going through the malls, which is kind of ridiculous. Oh yeah, real, so real though. Yeah, they try to replicate but kind of fail miserably. Yeah. It's so funny that like in so many cities like the malls are considered like the bus terminal, like but ironically the malls, they hate that. They don't like it when they don't like transit users waiting inside the mall, especially during the winter. They also don't want to like they also want the bus terminal to be separated from the mall entrance by a parking lot. When yeah, exactly. We need some sort of like yeah, we need some sort of like family-friendly third spaces too, and also like affordable as well, because and that's why I said earlier that I love libraries, and I also said why libraries are underrated, criminally underrated, and criminally underfunded. No, I got caught. Yeah, like green parks with good sports facilities. I think like I made a short about outdoor gyms. So when I visited Hanoi last year, I saw like so many like uh, I call them outdoor gyms, but generally like they are just parks, but with like gym equipment that people can just do the workout in the park for free. And I think like more parks need to adopt that kind of idea. Yeah, libraries feel too good to be true. It's kind of sad to see how defunded they are, though. Like, I know a lot of, like, for example, my city, in my mom's city, the libraries, they don't even, I think they only open, like, um, yeah, like, they only open for, 4 hours on Sunday. And they close during the summer. Like in the summer, like they actually close down the library on Sundays, which is really sad. Like, yeah, it's dumb, and I personally feel like libraries. I feel like this is also like comes to public education as well, because um, many people think that libraries is just about books, but it's so much more than that. Like, libraries actually provide like a lot of public services for people. Um, like, one can learn how to use Microsoft Word, one can learn digital literacy using the library, using the local library. One can learn about, like, depending on how well funded they are, like, one can also learn about, like, essential skills for their life. And they also provide like computers for job applications. There's just like so many things that to name a few. I don't know why like my brain it just like stopped working at the moment, so I can't really name. Oh yeah, I remember as a kid um, I used to go to the library and play video games because like our family could not afford a PS4. Our family could not afford a console. So I went to the libraries and played video games a lot. We also like borrowed video games from the library as well. So I think like, yeah, like libraries had just hold a very important place in today's society. And come on, like in this economy, like are we gonna buy books? Like are we just gonna like buy like a tons of books? Yeah, exactly. Libraries like let you learn so much more outside of school. And like it's an amazing third space. I know like a lot of libraries in my city they offer like family programs. They offer like cooking classes, which is amazing. And it's generally like um, it enhanced that cohesion. It enhanced that like family cohesion, and also like um, there's also like a lot of chart mining classes in libraries. I would need to like learn more about like what the word chart mining actually means. Um, but yeah. Oh, stadiums? It depends on like what kind of like events that is hosted at the stadium. Like if you open like an entertainment district, a stadium district, but it's only for like high-end activities, then you just basically like gatekeeping people. I think like there should also be like some sort of like stadiums should also be used for like community events as well, like fairs or concerts or like local concerts actually. Like or like my city did one. They used the stadium. It's actually an arena, but they use that as like the cultural festival. It's part of like the folk fest. Where they utilize the stadium as like community events like that. But if we're just like focusing on like sport games and concerts, which are expensive, then it feels really gatekeeping, and it's not inclusive for people. I think like a lot of in a lot of cities I see in their stadium district, they have like those smaller like football or like fields around it, which plays as like a form of like training for like the youth team or like the kids. Like there are actually like family soccer events, like family sport events that happens in these smaller fields by the bigger stadium. So it still like somehow creates like the social connection in there. It somehow still allow people to come there even though like they're not going to like the actual game events. Woo! Finished the achievement. And like I think like waterfront districts I think are the best. Like cities should be utilizing like especially cities by rivers and oceans, by the oceans, like by the shores. Whatever like that shore is, like river shore, lake shore, or like seashore, they should be utilizing their waterfront, like their waterfront line, in a way that it create like the like urban horizontal line, and also like it's also a good way to learn, like for people to learn about the history of the city through that. Yeah, it really enhanced the culture as well, like and then like generally like not just about culture or not just about the social capital, but also like nature. Like you can use your waterfront as like a you see, like I think like this game, this part of the game, if this game just really reflects the lack of third spaces, that even the ducks are like using the ducks are using after using this supermarket as their third space. Oh yeah, I haven't read it, but I would love to. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh no, I got caught. And I think like in the age of like digital area like this, we also have oh no, I mean at least I still ate the fish. But back to the idea of virtual third spaces. I think like the boomers they are saying about like, oh yeah, it's the damn phone, but basically that is like the only third space that is accessible to like the vast majority of the population right now. Like it's right there on your phone. It's right there like on your screen. It's so easy to access this third space, and it's almost free. Like I mean, you just need a phone and you just need a phone and you just need an internet connection, which are basic human rights nowadays. And unfortunately, like we only have those spaces that are available for us as public spaces, as the third spaces, because the real physical third spaces out there are not accessible for us anymore. And I think like in my video about inactive children, I also talked about why high school students, they got so excited when they got their driver's license, because like they finally get the freedom that they can access everywhere. And the reason why they feel that freedom was because like because of the feeling of being stranded. And also like not being able to access places without easily around their neighborhoods, around their households. And we can always thank car dependency for this. Thoughts on food halls and public markets? Oh yeah, I love that idea, especially farmers markets. You don't know how accessible, like how I love farmers markets. Farmers markets are amazing, and it also like kind of like give me a vibe that I don't have to like buy anything. Just like browse around, and some farmers markets even have public performances. I think like when it comes to public spaces, as long as like the general public can access it, then it's already like a good element out there. I think like um, in downtown, in the downtown area of my city, like they even like have like games. I think like in the summer they have ping pongs. Uh, in the summers, like they have ping pongs, they have chess, they have puzzles, like giant puzzles for children to play, which are like really great initiative. Oh yeah, basketball as well. Like imagine a downtown square, just being a downtown square itself, then there's nothing to do. There's nothing that you can really do there. But but once you add like elements such as like basketball court or like table tennis or like um, any like other like forms of like board games or like structures that allow physical activities, then that is really appreciated. Like I see so many parks in many cities, they are just like empty parks, like literally just really empty. Just yeah, I know that I'm repeating what I've just said earlier, but yeah, like so many places just have nothing, just a bench or like not even like a tree or anything. You can hardly call that a park. You can hardly call that a good third space for people. And I feel like designs of like public spaces like that are just insulting.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I think we need to bring back music club. I will talk more about music and I like in public spaces in my video about public art, because like it also like fell within public art. It has like the sounds, it has like the sound element to public art, which create like the unique sound for a city. Because like when we talk about public art, we have been like overly focusing on we've been overly focusing on the idea of I'm running in circles. We've been overly focusing on the idea of like what we can see, but we forgot about like what we can hear as well. Because yeah, there's like lots of noises, lots of kind of noises in a city, and some of them like they create like, you know, like a harmonic sound. And I think like I go to a lot of open mics events, which is really awesome, and they mostly happen at oh my god. I'm just focusing on this conversation at the moment. Sorry, I was not saying anything. But yeah, I haven't seen like dance halls before. I know like in a lot of areas they have like public dance. I've attended a salsa dance actually in a public square. They literally just like throw out like a dance class, a salsa dance class, which is amazing. And then like people tune in to like watch, or like some join the dance as well. I like that idea. But back to the idea, I think I was also talking about open mic events, which is, yeah, like it's, I think it's like a really like underrated thing, because open mic events, you also like allow yourself to know about the local musicians, the local artists, while like you don't really have to like buy any food there. I think the concept of open mic is a really awesome concept. And like some don't even charge you money as well, which is nice. I personally like am not a nightclub person, so I've actually never been to a nightclub. It's kind of like it's really overstimulating for me, to say the least. It's loud, it's and see, like I think like arcade games like this is also a way to like, I think like majority of arcade games can be made in a way that is like accessible and free for people as well. I mean, look at board games. Just look at all the board games out there. I think like majority of board games, like I used to be a summer camp counselor, whatever the word is, like summer camp person. And I have let kids play Gartic Phone. If you don't know what Gartic Phone is, it's basically like a drawing game where you have to guess what your partner is drawing, like from the other screen. And basically, yep, sometimes away from the screen is a good idea. See? But the thing is that like the screen has that public spaces, that third spaces that we all desire. We love you too, kitty, duckies. Hello? I think like, okay, I think like back to the ideas, back to the stories that we were talking about earlier about the malls. Uh, I do have a beef with the mall though. Like, some of them actually kick people out, like, or actually like don't allow children from a certain, yeah, like teenagers at at a certain time of the day. Like for example, back in high school, I remember my high school was so close to a senior homes and like a mall, which this mall is basically like a mall um, for elderly people. And because like it being a mall for elderly people, they they don't like it when children, when teenagers, like high school students, come by. Hold on, I'm having a phone call. I am back. Okay. Is there a phenomenon where you live where certain third spaces are associated with specific subcultures or anything like? Oh yeah, definitely. We do have that too. Uh, where yeah, like so have you guys heard the story of the stoop? Where it's basically like the stairs that lead up to like the front door of a house and provide what was that? And then like provide the space for singing and busking, and it's very commonly associated with a lot of Latino communities. In I think it started from New York City, and then like slowly spread to like I think it's a very common thing in Brooklyn. Maybe just be like a Brooklyn thing. Yeah. And I think like some other like third spaces that you can think about, for example, like Chinatown, for example. There's a lot of community centers in Chinatowns where, and it's mostly focusing on senior residents where they don't have the means. They like some of them may not speak English well, and like all they have are like their fellow like citizens. Like for example, like a community of Chinese elderly citizens, Vietnamese elderly citizens, Taiwanese, Japanese. They come over to these community centers, and that's where they have their third spaces. I've seen this a lot with them, like playing mahjong. I want to learn to play mahjong so bad, actually. Um, and also like, um, playing chess, solitaire, like all kinds of games, and it really creates a very warming environment in there as elderly people. And I think like it's really important that we have the third spaces also like for elderly people too. We know that like it's so important for the development of children and teenagers, but also for adults as well. It's so necessary for adults too. um and yeah, but back to the story about the mall, like it was baffling to me that they did not allow teenagers in the mall like from the hours of 3:30 to 5:30, because like that's the hour when school ends. And yeah, it's a very dumb rule, to say the least. It's a very dumb rule, and it's basically like the reason why they had that rules is because like the senior residents, they don't want that. But you also have to think that like these children, these teenagers, they have nowhere to go. Like, where are they supposed to go? um they don't want to come home just yet. They want to hang out with their friends, but the school also like doesn't like let them stay over. So yeah, like an endless problem. And then like when it's minus, like for example today it's minus 30 in where I live right now. It's minus fucking 30 degrees. I don't know how to convert that to Fahrenheit. How is that? What is that in Fahrenheit? It's just like we have an extreme cold warning. Who would want to be outside? Like, and then like, and if that's the case, then you have to choose an indoor place as your third space. And now, if you banned, like if you're not allowed to be in the mall, which is an indoor space, then where else are you gonna go? It's really sad how, yeah, like how these are not considered at all. And it will leave like detrimental mental health consequences for real. Like, I certainly feel like half of my depression problem can be solved if I could access like affordable and easy to reach public spaces. Christmas markets and ice rink. I think like the idea of ice rinks are amazing. I've seen a lot of like outdoor pools being converted into ice rinks in the summer, in the winter. Actually, what's so good about um, what's so good about many cities. I'm not sure how many cities does this, but I've seen the idea of in the winter they convert golf courses into what was that? Like what's the word? What's the sport? Cross country skiing. There we go. Yeah. And I think that's just a genius idea. Right there. I feel like that's a genius idea. As temporary third spaces, they are amazing. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this like in a video, but I never had the energy to do that. I really like it, especially like I like, this is why I really like Christmas in the cities, because like the city has just way too much. It has all the decorations, all the lights. It's really beautiful. Looks really awesome. And but like yeah, it's only like a very short-term thing. I think like we also like gonna be benefited a lot from like mentally from like having like some nice things around. I'm just trying to get this fish. How do I do that? Yeah, like it's really good. I think like having like light decoration is a really good urban design initiatives that cities should be doing. And like honestly, it just like makes it like looks more appealing to be around in general. And then like I think like they can also like alternating with like the design of the lights, just so that it doesn't look like there's only one design overall. Like we can like having like rotations of designs to make things look to make things like slightly different but also like beautiful and attractive to people. I know that it does cost a lot of money on such initiatives like that, but come on, like we fund a lot of money for policing. I'm pretty sure we can fund that money to like urban design. I'm pretty sure like we can fund it on like making our cities like look a little nicer and like more accessible and more attractive in one perspective, in some perspective. And then like and also like I also want to talk about like the third space is needed for like different cultures as well. Like for example, like indigenous peoples, like they do need spaces to like practice their tradition, their traditional dance, their songs. Bro, did she just like spray inside the house? That was quick. Yeah, like I've seen a lot of people like doing drum ceremonies like while they are like in public parks, especially at gazebos or like at benches or something. And I generally think that's a great idea. Like that's we have to have those like structures and elements in the public spaces to create like a more complete and more meaningful third space that is inclusive and open and welcoming to everybody, just so that they can be used with different purposes and different cultures, like different cultural practices, things like that. Oh, I missed that. Like, I don't think I can fathom the fact that like parks are just like empty and then like some are just open like seasonally. Oh, speaking of opening time for parks, does your city have laws about like when parks should be closed for the day? Like for example, mine does. Parks are closed from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in here. And to me, it just feels like it's a really segregating policy. Like, I can see that like from it's a form of hostile architecture, but in this case implemented as hostile policies. Basically trying to keep unhoused people from like accessing the park from like certain hours of the day. Yeah. Consider yourself lucky with that, because like yeah, I don't like it when they like gatekeep. And also like not just that, but also I think like one more thing about public spaces, like regulation that never just seems to make sense to me, is that like there are no loitering laws. Like, how do you even define loitering? No. Oh, okay, you gotta like do that again. Yeah, like, I mean, isn't it like loitering basically like on the dictionary it says that walking around without a purpose, but I feel like personally I feel like when you're like at a public space you already have a purpose of being there already, like just like enjoying the surrounding of and then like being in the space. Come on, that is the purpose already, you know? Like I just feel like those regulations like that just never make sense. I'm gonna take a quick break. Yeah, stand up, stretch yourself. I need to go fill my water bottle. And then after this, we can talk more about job application and libraries. Yeah, I mean, on that note of, yeah, on my 3rd day of unemployment, I need to I need to apply for jobs, and yeah, I just don't feel like doing it at home, so I went to the library today, and I see that like a lot of people use the library for different purposes while I was there. Oh wow, whoa, the cat was just levitating. Yeah, let's just go take a quick break, and then we're gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. Time to get back. You know, like, I was thinking to myself that if we don't have a third, if we don't have a good third space for like all of our social interactions, like getting out there, discovering the world, etc., then eventually like our first and second place will feel like they are prisons. I'm not sure if I am the only one with that. Oh, so did I just like spray the paint on like the illegally parked cars? I love this idea. Oh my god. This is funny. This is so funny. Yeah. This is how you deal with this is how you deal with improperly parked cars. Oh. Honestly, like, yeah. Is that the bird that I was supposed to look for? I think it is. Yeah, anyways, like, I think like a lot of times, and like especially like when we're like always in that kind of like negative moods, it will eventually like make us like ruin the relationships with the people living around us. Just because like we don't have like the proper living environment that foster Wait, so that means like that's the end of the mission? I've actually been to the red light district in Amsterdam. I don't know, like, to me, this is just my personal like opinions. I know a lot of you all out there like love to criminalize sex workers, but I'm not one of them. And I think they are great. Like I think like they are part of it. They should be a part of like the third spaces, but like in this case definitely like a third space that needs to be appropriately monitored. So that and I think like it's also like provide the opportunities for parents to have these kind of conversations, like educational conversations with kids about these kind of districts in the city as well. That's my take on that. Like you need to like making sure that it's not showing explicit or adult content to children, but also like you should not be taking away and criminalize, like you should not be like stigmatizing and criminalizing sex workers. What, I have to like find chameleon like another time for another time? Okay. I actually got rewarded for hitting objects. Oh. Just turn around and like I already like got this mission done. I think like the implementation of red light districts will require like a lot of unlearning and like destigmatization of sex works, but also like there should be like some sort of like ways to protect the sex workers from being exploited, being abused, and being targeted there's a lot of creeps out there, and who knows. So yeah, like we need a lot of protection. Like they deserve a lot of protection as well. And I feel like the stream tonight is pretty quiet. I think it's, I know that it's a Friday night. People are going out, having fun. And yeah, see, like they have the means to. Like they have the, like they are going to the third spaces, like the bars, the restaurants, bowling alleys, etc. And me, I'm just like sitting here and creating a virtual third space for us all to come here and chat. It's kind of funny, hey? Like, yeah, people are like at the third spaces while I'm here talking about third spaces while on a third space, technically. Also, I just released a video about Speed Bump today. Go take a look at that. I'm actually feeling slightly sleepy at the moment. I don't know, it's just like I know this would happen. I feel like I still need to do better at like preparing the scripts. Like I have things that I want to talk about. It's just like my thoughts are like everywhere all at once. And that is when I begin to ramble, and if I keep rambling and it's just not helping, because like it's gonna like I will repeat the topics and then make the stream like too repetitive. But yeah, like I also like really enjoy these live conversations that we have so far. Like I've only had like 3 live stream sessions, but seems like it's been working like really well actually. And I think like another thing that I don't like about paid third spaces is a lot of coffee shops. Yeah, I think like this is like a real problem, especially like in many Asian countries. I've seen this. Seen this at many places. Is that somehow a lot of coffee shops actually complain about customers sitting in there for too long. Yeah, personally, like I am not a religious person, so I don't go to church. I don't go, but I think it's also a third space. It just like it can also be used as a community gathering space, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people go to church, and I think like it can be used. Sorry, excuse me. It can be used as like a gathering space, not just like only a weekly gathering where like you have the church ceremony, church service on Sunday, and then you go home, and then like the church is closed for the whole week. But I feel like I personally feel like there could be like activities happen like during other days of the week as well, which I assume a lot of churches are doing already, and especially like uh, kids activities and things like that. Um, like I know a Buddhist pagoda in my city that they have like also they have the ceremony, they have the service every Sunday, but they also open every day for like by like passerbys, like people can just go through, they go in, they come in and pray and then go out. It's just like there will be nobody in there. I wonder. I do wonder though. What happens to the animals at the zoos in the winter, like crazily cold winter like today? I'm pretty sure that they have like shelters for the animals, right?
Huh?
There must be a way. There must be a way. And like zoos in winter cities are just like something very like seasonal thing as well. Might only be open from like April to like October. And after that it's closed, which is very sad. I think like now that we're talking about third spaces in winter cities, then we need to like think like winter cities. We need to think about like what kind of public space that is appropriate for winter cities to have, that is accessible, that is usable throughout like all the seasons of the year, or like can be easily converted between things for summer, things for winter, things like that. I think like when I was in my third year, like my prof has this very genius idea of like a hot chocolate stand, and in the summer converting that into an ice cream stand. Not a bad idea, right? Not a bad idea. Except yeah, like still, it's also about the money as well. And then like you also need to make sure that like there are spaces for the people who coming to those hot chocolate stand or like ice cream stand to enjoy that food. And this is where like the street furniture, street infrastructure comes in really handy. Like personally, I just feel like if that public space is not. Um, yeah, for example, like this food truck, for example, we see like there's still one table in here. Like, or yeah, it's basically like you need to have like, even though it's a hot chocolate stand or it's like a ice cream stand, you need to make sure that like there is a space for people to sit down. Like, and yeah, this is a perfect example of that. Damn, like we just walking around and we saw an example of that already. It's so funny. And I think like I feel like a lot of third spaces which are technically publicly owned, it's also like really gatekeeping people. The first example that you could think of is a train station. Like in many places you actually need a ticket to enter a train station. Like, what if like I just want to like take photos of the trains? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to take photos of trains. I don't think there's anything wrong with like, cause like I've seen a lot of like like models, like photography models. They go inside train stations and they want to take photos in there because like it has a nice background or anything. But it's actually illegal in many places, in some spaces. So I think that personally I feel like that is a very bad idea of gatekeeping people. And the train station should be a public space anyways. It should be like everybody should be allowed to come in and come out, no matter if they are. Oh, this is like actually the map limit. Oh, I cannot go further than that. Yeah, like it's still a train station. It's still it's like a public transit infrastructures, and public infrastructures should not be gatekept from anybody. Should not be limited to like just a certain group of people to access at one point. And I do feel like public spaces, third spaces, and public art should go hand in hand together. Because like it kind of contribute to one another. It kind of like they are kind of like complement goods, like you learn in economics class. And generally like give people something to do, give people like some sort of feelings, give people like an emotion when they are around. Just wondering, where do you live? I would love to not reveal like the actual city that I live in at the moment, but I do live in Canada, the Canadian prairies, and that's the furthest that I am comfortable sharing. I hope you understand. Yeah, like where do I live? It's like a really winter city, so things can get really cold. Like for example, yeah, could reveal the province. But yeah, I could. I think I would not like reveal it like too obviously, like too conspicuously, but I would rather revealing it by nicknames. It's the Texas of Canada, the Canadian Texas. I think that should be like enough in terms of clues for you to guess. I don't think that I can go more obvious than that. I think like back to the topic of street infrastructure, street furniture. I think like a street infrastructure alone, like a bench, it can already be considered a third space. It like its surrounding area looks good, or like how do I say it? It's like has something for that can retain people in there. Oh, nice. Thank you. Oh, I used to live in Edmonton actually. I'm currently like I'm currently still living in Alberta, but I don't live in Edmonton, sadly. I don't know like what's the hate with Edmonton like on social media, but I personally like really love the city. Like when I lived there, it was amazing. As always. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to create more Edmonton content too. I've actually created a lot of Edmonton content in 2024, and I really enjoyed doing that. I think like I did create my first bit of content on Edmonton was way back in, when was that? 2021. And I just feel like, yeah, like no, we don't have, yeah, Edmonton, Calgary are both two big cities, but a lot of channels are not covering this, or they only like cover like just one video, or yeah. So I'm glad to be like the dedicated channel that had a lot of videos about Edmonton so far. Thank you. And I hope that ritual will resume one day. Oh, one thing I did not mention that tonight at all. Oh my god, this just like came into my head. I think like on the note of like inclusive public spaces, I think we can't not mention accessible playgrounds, inclusive playgrounds. There's a lot of them in Calgary. And it's basically like those, it's more than just an accessible playground. You see like accessible playgrounds, they allow like children who require mobility aids, like wheelchair users, to use the structure, to use the play structure in there. But an inclusive playground is more than that. An inclusive playground definitely like focus more on like the sensory issues, like the experience of the people, and then like it also like targets more invisible disabilities. And I think like in the age of like inclusivity, like I think like yeah, like disabled children deserve play as well. Like they also deserve like a third space for them as well. And so when we talk about third spaces, like when we talk about like all these public infrastructures, street furnitures, all that stuff, it's really important that like we include them. Like I said in the stream yesterday, like when you plan everything, when you work on any projects, you have to like center the most marginalized, the most vulnerable group of society. And in this case, when you're designing inclusive third spaces, And in this case, when we're talking about inclusive third spaces, we need to mention that. We need to mention that disabled children also deserve a place to play and to develop cognitively as well. Thoughts on downtown urban themed malls? Well, in Saskatoon, the main mall of the city, like the main downtown mall, used to be a train station. Like the moment that I discovered that, and having lived in the city before, I was like, holy crap. I really wish that like they keep the train stations, like not like the train station, but like keep something like remnants, like designs about the train station around, as part of like, cause like it's part of the city's history. Instead of like just converting it entirely into a mall like that. Yeah. I think like theme malls. Are you also like referring to like theme malls like Disneyland, Disney World, like things like that, or? Yeah, like a lot of malls are actually like in decline, and then like I feel like this is like just my observation, but I feel like every mall in every Canadian cities nowadays, they need some sort of big box store to like lift them up, which is really sad. And like, I mean, they kind of dig themselves into this hole. But that's my take. Yeah, so I would really wish like, cause like a lot of malls like used to be something else in the past. Could be a government building, could be what was that? Could be a train station like I just said. It could be like yeah, it all has like some sort of historic values in there. And so if they end up like building the mall, like at least like I think this is just a me thing, but like maybe include something about the history would be nice. I mean, it's just a me thing because like I really enjoy history, so I really enjoy reading about history. So yeah. Oh. Oh wow. Interesting. Like, it's honestly kind of sad to see that like a lot of former train stations are either like abandoned or like just being completely bulldozed. But if you like repurpose the building into something, yeah, at least like have like a notes about like at least like having like a little information board about the like the former glory of the building or something. Like the for example the downtown casino in Regina is an example. It used to be a train station. It used to be the central station of Regina. But like, it's now a casino, and then like now if you go into a casino, like if you go into the casino, you can still see like the train boards. Like there's like still like some sort of like bars like resembling like the old like cafeteria of the train station, and also like, you can still see like departure board. So I think like it's a really cool idea to like convert old train stations into like museums, or like at least like having some sort of like informations about what that used to be. Well, EZD just said museum is also a form of third space. So what do you think? Like, do you think museums are third space to you? I personally feel like museums is an educational third space as well. It also like depending on like what it's exhibiting and like what they charge for it. Yeah. I eventually will go and create another video tonight. I have a couple of like short videos that I want to execute. Like I actually have the footages for that, which is nice. I do have to edit 2 long videos that I'm making at the moment. Can't really spoil what it is for you yet, but one will be out next week. Actually, the one coming out next week, I'll talk about long bus routes and like long transit routes and what makes them like too long or like too short, what makes a bus route like too long or too short, or like how to make a bus route like more like shorter or longer to people, like why some bus routes are like short or long depending on like different elements. Depending on like its routing and like other components that constitute it. I'm having like people over tomorrow, so yeah, basically converting my house into a third space as well. I think like we should not just be limiting our third spaces to just other people's house, because we have demands for entertainment. So like, and then like a lot of people also like don't feel comfortable in other people's houses. So yeah, like having those public spaces and having those third spaces, it helps them to like be, oh yeah, it also, yeah, help them to be I think my pet peeve with ski resorts is that like it can be expensive. Like it like skiing is insanely inexpensive sport already, and like not to mention like about the accommodation, like the hotels and such. And I think like I said this in my video about all transit centers of Edmonton, but generally like I feel like public spaces and third spaces need to have good public transit access as well. They kind of like go hand in hand together, and you just cannot like omit it, because like it's basically like, yeah, like if you building a third space that is only reachable by car, that is like so car dependent, then like you already like destroying a lot of potentials for it already. I think like Ski Village would be considered third spaces if there is, yeah, like if there's like a diversity of sports, sorry, if there's like a diversity of like activities for people, and also like I would honestly love to see like all season. I would really love to see like all season inclusive third spaces for children. Like one can imagine, honestly, just one can imagine. I think like a lot of like parks, which is like a very good step, that in the beginning that's like very good in like the right direction already, is that like a lot of third spaces are now providing like indoor benches, indoor waiting rooms for the parents. Parents can just like sit down and be sheltered from snow and rain and sometimes even wind, which is already like a plus. I think it matters a lot. I think like the theming and aesthetic actually matters a lot, because like you know it's about the experience, right? It's about creating a positive experience for the people, so that like they can be like their attention can be retained and they will come back to those third spaces. And so I think like the design and like the themes and like colors and what kind of arts to put on, it really matters. It really like tightly connect with the third space itself. But I think like I would dedicate this on my stream about public art. I don't know when I will be streaming next. I might not stream tomorrow. I'm busy tomorrow night. Also, like I'm learning to see like what I can do with IRL stream. Like you've always seen my videos already.
Huh?
I might even have like a little stream about like behind the scenes of my videos and such. But yeah, like I think like it's really important to. But back to the story about like visuals, it's really important to have that like good visual that is appealing to the people like coming to the area, just so that like
Huh?
just so that, like they feel welcomed and belong. And I think like this also like matters for like in case of like people are like having a bad day, they are might be experiencing like mental health issues. There's this podcast that I listened to about this unhoused man coming to this community center, and the moment that he entered the community center, he felt welcoming and he felt at home immediately because of the smell, like the design and the art that surrounds him. So I think it's not only like an important part, it's actually like I think like it has like a direct correlation anyways. Yeah. I'm actually feeling a little bit tired now, so this game does not have an ending, or else like I would definitely like do it like yeah, I did that yesterday. Where I like drive the bus until like a last stop and then stop the game. But I think like I'm just like going to a convenient location maybe. Okay, well thank you all for coming in tonight. I know tonight it was not really crowded in traffic like last night, but I had some good conversation with y'all, and I think like we gotta like talk about this again in an upcoming stream about public art and public spaces, because I think it's a really important part of that. Bye for now. Stay safe and stay warm.
Huh?